Millionaire single dad witnessed a stranger holding his lost child. What she whispered left him froze. Meet Adam Lawrence, a successful, millionaire single dad, who had it all: wealth, status, a beautiful house. But there was one thing missing: his heart. Adam had always been a father first, but he never quite knew how to balance the demands of his high-powered career with raising his daughter alone. He wasn't used to asking for help, and after his wife passed away unexpectedly, Adam threw himself into work, trying to fill the empty spaces with accomplishments. His daughter, Lily, was his whole world, but even that connection sometimes felt distant. It was one cold afternoon, when Adam was busy checking emails in his office, that he heard it, the faint sound of Lily's voice echoing through the hallway, a voice that seemed different today. "Daddy? Daddy!" Her voice cracked with fear, and Adam's heart skipped a beat. He rushed out of his office, looking around the house. No Lily. His pulse raced. He ran through the rooms, calling her name, but there was no answer. Panic hit him like a freight train. The minutes felt like hours. He grabbed his phone, dialed her number, but there was no response. Adam's mind raced, 100 thoughts spiraling out of control. Was she outside? Was she lost? His feet were moving faster than his thoughts, and before he knew it, he was sprinting out of the front door and into the freezing cold. The street was empty, save for the occasional car passing by. He felt his stomach twist into knots. 1,000 possibilities flooded his mind. What if something had happened to her? What if? And just as he was about to run toward the park, he saw it. A woman standing by the park gate, holding Lily's hand. She was a stranger, yet there was something about her that instantly put him at ease. She looked up at Adam as he ran toward them, his heart pounding in his chest. "Is she all right?" he asked, his voice tight with worry. The woman smiled softly and nodded. "She's fine, just a little scared. I found her wandering by the bench over there," she said, pointing to the far side of the park. Adam sighed in relief, but as he stepped closer, he noticed something strange. The woman was holding his daughter so gently, so carefully, like a mother would. And it wasn't just the way she was holding her. There was something in her eyes, something familiar, like he knew her, but couldn't quite place it. "Thank you," Adam said, his voice hoarse, grateful but still on edge. The woman glanced at him, then down at Lily. "I'm just glad I was there," she replied quietly. Adam knelt down to his daughter. "Hey, sweetie, are you okay?" Lily looked up at him, her eyes wide, filled with a mix of fear and relief. "I was lost, Daddy, but she helped me." Adam kissed her forehead, still trying to process the relief and confusion swirling inside him. But then the woman bent down, whispering something in Lily's ear that Adam couldn't hear, something so quiet that it felt almost like a secret. Lily's face shifted, her eyes softening. "Thank you," she whispered back, almost too softly for Adam to hear. And then, before he could ask what it was, the woman turned and began walking away. "Wait, please," Adam called out, but the woman didn't stop. She glanced back once, just for a moment, a look that sent a chill through Adam. "Take care of her," she said, her voice low, but firm. And with that, she disappeared into the crowd. Adam stood there, his mind spinning. Who was that woman? What had she whispered to Lily? Why did it feel like he'd just experienced something far more significant than a simple act of kindness? As he held his daughter close, Adam knew this encounter was far from over. Something had changed, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just met someone who would change his life forever. It had been a few days since Adam's unexpected encounter with the mysterious woman at the park, and every time he closed his eyes, he could still see her. How she held his daughter, how she whispered something into Lily's ear that left her with a strange, contented smile. Adam couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to the woman than just a helpful stranger. The entire experience felt like a puzzle, and he couldn't stop trying to put the pieces together. Who was she? Why did she feel so familiar, yet completely unknown? And what had she said to Lily? The question haunted him. As the days passed, Adam found himself thinking about it. More and more. His usual routine of high-powered meetings and business calls felt distant, like something he used to do but couldn't focus on anymore. His mind kept drifting back to that moment in the park. He tried to brush it off, telling himself that maybe it was nothing, just a random act of kindness from a stranger. But deep down, Adam knew it was more than that. He had to know who she was. One evening, as Adam sat at his desk in his study, going through paperwork, his phone buzzed. He glanced down at the screen. It was a text message from an unknown number. I think we should talk. Adam stared at the message for a moment, a mix of curiosity and wariness flooding his chest. He didn't hesitate. He quickly typed back, asking, "Who is this?" A moment later, the reply came. The woman at the park. Adam's heart skipped a beat. The woman. His mind raced. What was she trying to say? What did she want? He quickly typed his response. "Where can we meet?" He was certain he had to find out more. The next evening, they agreed to meet at a quiet cafe, a place far from the bustling crowds of the city, just a small corner spot where people rarely noticed. Adam arrived first. He was early, and the anticipation was already making him uneasy. Was he making a mistake? What if this was some kind of trick? His hand trembled slightly as he checked his watch. Minutes ticked by slowly until he saw her walk in. She was dressed in a simple black coat, her hair tied back, and there was no sign of the mysterious aura that had surrounded her the first time they met. She looked like any other woman, but Adam knew better now. There was something about her. She walked toward him, and when she saw him, she gave him a small, almost apologetic smile. "You wanted to talk," she said, her voice calm, with just a hint of mystery. "I'm listening," Adam replied, his voice steady, though his heart was racing. The woman sat down, her eyes meeting his with a soft intensity. "I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable the other day," she began. "But I had to speak to your daughter. She needed to hear something, and I was the one who was." "There." Adam furrowed his brow. "What did you say to her?" he asked, trying to keep his voice neutral, though 1,000 questions were running through his mind. "I told her she was safe," the woman replied softly. "That you would always protect her, no matter what. That she was loved. But I also told her that she should never feel ashamed of asking for help. That the right people will always come when they're needed." Adam felt a lump form in his throat. He had never considered how Lily might feel about his constant pressure to be strong for her. He had tried to shield her from the truth of his fears, but maybe he had been too closed off, too focused on his own worries. "Why did you feel the need to say that?" Adam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Because she reminded me of someone I used to know," the woman replied. Her words were simple, but there was a sadness in them, a sadness that felt familiar to Adam. He leaned forward, trying to read her face, but she was guarded. "Someone you used to know?" he asked, his voice thick with curiosity. She nodded slowly. "A long time ago, I had a daughter of my own. She's no longer with me. But seeing your daughter, it reminded me of how precious and fragile life can be." The words hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning. Adam didn't know what to say. He had come here looking for answers, but what he was hearing only raised more questions. He felt the weight of the moment, the unexpected bond between them. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice soft. "I didn't know." The woman smiled faintly, her eyes softening. "It's okay. You don't need to know everything. Sometimes, people just need to feel heard." Adam looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. She wasn't just a stranger anymore. She was someone who had a story, someone who understood pain, loss, and what it meant to love deeply. He didn't know why, but he felt an urge to reach out to her, to offer his own story, to connect in a way he hadn't allowed himself to in years. Before he could speak, the woman stood up. "I have to go," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "But remember what? I told you. You're not alone in this. There are people who care." Adam sat there, staring at the empty chair where she had been, a sense of longing filling the space she had left behind. This was just the beginning. He knew it. It had been a week since Adam met the woman at the cafe, and despite his best efforts to move on, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something he was missing. Something deep down told him that their encounter wasn't just a random act of kindness. It felt like fate, a moment that would change everything. He kept replaying her words in his mind. "You're not alone in this. There are people who care." Adam didn't know if it was just the weight of his own loneliness, or if there was something more to her message, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. His daughter, Lily, had been asking more questions lately, questions about her mother, about why she never saw her, and about why Daddy seemed so distant sometimes. Adam did his best to give her answers, but the truth was, he didn't have all the answers himself. That night, after Lily had fallen asleep, Adam sat on the couch in his spacious living room, looking out the large windows at the city lights below. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was another message from an unknown number. "We need to talk. It's about your daughter." Adam's heart skipped a beat. It was her, the woman from the park. He didn't hesitate. He quickly typed back, "Where?" She responded almost instantly, "Meet me at the same cafe. I promise I won't take much of your time." Adam didn't know what to expect, but his curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his coat and made his way out of the house, leaving the comfort of his penthouse behind. When he arrived at the cafe, she was already there, sitting at the same corner table where they had met before. This time, there was no mystery in her eyes, no guarded expression, just a quiet determination. She stood as he approached and gestured for him to sit. "I'm sorry to drag you here again," she said, her voice calm and sincere. "But I needed to tell you something important." Adam sat down, his mind racing. "What is it?" he asked, his voice tense. The woman looked at him, her gaze steady, but there was something new in her eyes, something deeper. "I've been watching over your daughter," she began, her words slow but heavy. Adam felt his heart skip in his chest. "What do you mean? Watching over her?" he asked, confusion creeping into his voice. She nodded slightly. "I know it sounds strange, but I can't explain it. I have a gift that allows me to sense when children are in danger, when they need help. I've been watching your daughter because I feel she needs someone right now, someone to help guide her, to show her love." Adam's chest tightened. "What do you know about her?" "What are you talking about?" he asked, his voice rising. "I'm not crazy, if that's what you're thinking," she said, her voice still calm but firm. "I just know that your daughter is more vulnerable than you realize. She's struggling, Adam, and she needs more than just a father who provides for her. She needs someone who can really be there for her, emotionally, someone who can let her in, let her know it's okay to need help. You've been so focused on protecting her, on keeping her safe, but you've forgotten that she needs more than just protection. She needs love, and she needs to feel it every day. She needs to know it's okay to ask for help, that she's not a burden." Adam sat there, stunned into silence. The woman's words hit him like a wave, and he felt like the ground had been ripped out from beneath him. He had always thought that being strong for Lily, providing for her, was enough, that if he could just give her everything she wanted, she would be fine. But now he realized he had been wrong. He had been too focused on giving her material things, too focused on being a provider, and not enough on being emotionally available, on truly connecting with her. "I know this isn't easy to hear," the woman continued, "but I want you to understand something. Your daughter is more perceptive than you think. She feels your pain, your fear, and your loneliness. And if you don't start showing her that it's okay to feel vulnerable, she'll grow up thinking that she has to do everything on her own, just like you." Adam's eyes burned with unshed tears. He didn't know what to say. He had been trying so hard to be the perfect father, but now he saw that he had been missing the most important thing, connection. "What can I do?" he finally asked, his voice hoarse. The woman smiled softly, her expression gentle. "Start by letting her in. Let her know that you're not just her father, but that you're someone who can understand her fears, her dreams, and her pain. Let her know that you're here for her, not just to protect her, but to love her unconditionally. That's the only way she'll ever feel safe." Adam sat back, processing everything she had said. He didn't know if he was ready for this kind of emotional vulnerability, but he knew she was right. He had been so focused on keeping things together, on maintaining control, that he had forgotten to let himself feel, to let Lily feel the love he had for her. The woman stood up, ready to leave. "Remember," she said as she walked toward the door, "you're not alone in this. You never have been. You just need to open your eyes and see it." Adam watched her leave, a mix of emotions swirling inside him. He wasn't sure what the future held, but he knew one thing for sure. He had to change. For Lily's sake. And for his own. It had been several days since Adam's conversation with the woman at the cafe, and the weight of her words still lingered heavily in his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the edge of something profound, something that could change his life and his relationship with Lily. After everything she had said, he knew deep down that he had to make some serious changes, but the question was, where should he begin? Adam sat in his study, staring out the window, lost in thought. The city lights below seemed to mock him, their steady glow reminding him of the things he had neglected in his life, the things that mattered most. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of Lily's voice, coming from the hallway. "Daddy." Adam's heart skipped a beat. He stood up quickly and walked toward her room, where she was sitting on her bed, drawing pictures. "Hey, sweetie," Adam said softly, kneeling beside her. Lily looked up at him with a smile that still had a touch of innocence, but there was something different about her. Something he couldn't quite place. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly, her small voice filled with uncertainty. Adam's heart clenched. He had never heard Lily sound so vulnerable before, so unsure. "Of course, honey. What's on your mind?" he replied, trying to sound calm, though inside he was terrified. Lily took a deep breath before speaking again. "I miss Mommy," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Adam felt his stomach twist. He had known this day would come, the day when Lily would start asking about her mother. He had been dreading it, but now that it was here, he wasn't sure how to answer. "I know, sweetie. I miss her too," Adam said, trying to hold back the emotion rising in his throat. He had always avoided talking about his late wife, avoiding the pain that came with the memories. But now, it seemed like Lily needed more than just a simple acknowledgement. She needed something deeper, something real. "I'm sorry," Lily continued, her eyes downcast. "I don't want to be sad all the time. But sometimes, I just feel really lonely. Like I'm the only one who remembers her." Adam's heart broke for his little girl. He reached out and pulled her into a tight hug, trying to hold back his own tears. "You're not alone, Lily," he whispered, his voice cracking. "You're not the only one who remembers her. I remember too. We both remember her." They sat there for a while, just holding each other. Adam could feel Lily's small body shaking with emotion, and he knew that she was carrying a weight far too heavy for her young shoulders. He had been so focused on providing for her, on making sure she had everything she needed, that he had forgotten to help her carry the emotional burden of losing her mother. When they finally pulled apart, Lily looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. "Daddy, do you think Mommy would be proud of me?" she asked, her voice small and vulnerable. Adam swallowed hard, the question hitting him harder than he expected. "Of course she would," he said, his voice steady, though his heart was in his throat. "She would be so proud of the person you're becoming." Lily smiled faintly, but it was a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Adam could see the doubts still lingering there, the uncertainty that she wasn't enough, that she wasn't worthy of her mother's love. It was a look that Adam knew all too well. He had carried that same doubt for years. "Daddy, can we do something fun this weekend?" Lily asked suddenly, her voice brightening just a little. Adam smiled, relieved to see her trying to lift her spirits. "Of course, sweetie. What do you want to do? Can we go to the park? I want to have a picnic like we used to. Just the two of us," Lily said, her eyes lighting up with hope. Adam felt a lump form in his throat, but he nodded. "I think that sounds like a perfect idea. We can go to the park and spend the whole day together, just the two of us." Lily hugged him tightly again, and Adam held her close, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He realized in that moment that it wasn't just about being a provider or a protector. It was about being present, emotionally available, and showing Lily that she wasn't alone in her pain. He wasn't alone either. After their conversation, Adam knew that things had to change. It wasn't enough to just take care of the physical needs of his daughter. He had to be there for her emotionally, to be the father she needed, not just the provider she relied on. The woman at the cafe had been right. Lily needed to feel love, real, unconditional love, and that started with him. He had to show her that it was okay to grieve, that it was okay to ask for help, and that she was never alone in this world. The following weekend, Adam and Lily spent the day at the park, just like old times. It wasn't just a picnic. It was a moment of healing, of reconnecting, and of finding the love that had been there all along. Adam knew that this was just the beginning of a long journey, but for the first time in a long while, he felt hopeful about the future. He was ready to be the father Lily needed, and to finally let go of the past and embrace the love that was waiting for him and his daughter. The weekend at the park had been a turning point for Adam and Lily. They spent the day talking, laughing, and simply enjoying each other's company, something they hadn't done in what felt like years. Adam had finally realized that what Lily needed most was not more material things, but his time, his attention, and his emotional presence. That Saturday afternoon, as they shared a picnic under the big oak tree in the park, Adam felt a peace he hadn't experienced in a long time. He could see the happiness in Lily's eyes as she ran around the playground, her laughter echoing through the air. It was the sound of a child who felt safe, loved, and cared for. And for the first time in a long time, Adam felt like he was truly giving her what she needed. That evening, after they returned home, Lily kissed him goodnight and climbed into bed, her face relaxed and calm. Adam stood in her doorway for a moment, watching her sleep, and he couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He had been so lost in his own grief and responsibilities that he had forgotten the simple joys of fatherhood. But now, he was determined to make up for lost time. The next morning, Adam woke up early, his mind already racing with plans. He wanted to do something special for Lily, something that would show her just how much he loved her. As he walked through the kitchen, he saw a note from his assistant reminding him of an important business meeting later that afternoon. Adam hesitated. He had been so wrapped up in work, so focused on building his empire, that he had missed the moments that mattered most. For a second, he thought about skipping the meeting, but he knew that wasn't realistic. He had responsibilities, and his business was what kept their lives afloat. Still, something inside him shifted. He realized that work couldn't come before everything else, especially not when it came to Lily. Adam sat at the kitchen table, his hands resting on the coffee mug in front of him, and he made a decision. He would take a step back from his work, just for a while, to focus on his daughter. He would set aside time each day for her, no matter what. He wasn't going to let the pressures of his career control his life any longer. After a moment of contemplation, Adam grabbed his phone and texted his assistant to reschedule the meeting. He would take the morning to spend with Lily. They could go to the zoo, or perhaps take a walk through the botanical gardens. It didn't matter where they went, as long as they were together. The phone buzzed with a response from his assistant, confirming the new arrangement. Adam smiled, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. It wasn't just about taking a day off from work. It was about taking control of his life and his priorities. He knew he couldn't keep going down the same path of workaholism. His daughter needed him, and he was finally ready to be the father she deserved. As he walked into Lily's room to tell her the news, he saw the excitement on her face. "Daddy, are we going to the zoo today?" she asked, her voice full of joy. Adam nodded, his heart swelling with love for her. "Yes, sweetie. We're going to the zoo. Just you and me." Lily squealed in delight and jumped up from her bed, rushing to grab her shoes. Adam chuckled as he watched her excitement, and for the first time in a long time, he felt truly present in the moment. It wasn't about the big gestures or extravagant gifts. It was about the small moments, the ones that made memories. The day at the zoo was everything Adam had hoped for. They wandered through the exhibits, watching the animals, laughing at the silly monkeys, and talking about Lily's favorite creatures. Adam listened as she told him stories about the animals she wanted to see, and he realized just how much he had missed in her world. The simplicity of it was perfect. As they sat on a bench, eating ice cream and enjoying the warm sunshine, Adam looked at Lily and realized something important. He had spent so much time trying to fix things, trying to make everything perfect, when all she really needed was for him to be there, to listen, and to love her. And that was enough. It wasn't about being a perfect father. It was about being there, in the moments that mattered most. Later that evening, as Adam tucked Lily into bed once more, she looked up at him with a smile. "I love you, Daddy," she said softly, her eyes shining with happiness. "I love you too, sweetheart," Adam replied, his voice full of emotion. He kissed her forehead and pulled the covers up around her, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. As he turned off the light and quietly closed the door behind him, he knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter for them. He wasn't going to let anything stand in the way of being the father Lily needed. He had learned his lesson. Success in his career didn't matter if he wasn't there for his daughter. From now on, he would make sure that no matter how busy life got, he would always put Lily first. As the weeks passed, Adam found himself more and more in tune with his daughter Lily's needs, both emotional and physical. Their bond grew stronger each day as they spent more time together, just the two of them. Adam had started to prioritize their relationship, making sure that his work didn't come before their precious moments. It wasn't always easy, but Adam was determined to be the father Lily deserved. He knew that time was the most valuable thing he could give her. One evening, after a fun-filled day at the beach, they returned home and Adam tucked Lily into bed, just like he did every night. He kissed her goodnight and turned to leave her room, but Lily's soft voice stopped him. "Daddy, are you happy now?" she asked, her wide eyes searching his face for an answer. Adam paused, unsure of what to say. He had always tried to provide everything she needed, but did that mean he was truly happy? It was a question that caught him off guard. "What do you mean, sweetie?" he asked, turning back to face her. Lily sat up in bed, her little face filled with curiosity. "You used to look so sad sometimes," she said softly. "But now you smile more, and we spend so much time together. Are you happy?" Adam felt a lump form in his throat. He hadn't realized that Lily had noticed his sadness, his struggle to balance work and family life. He had tried to shield her from his worries, but it seemed she saw through it all. He sat down on the edge of her bed, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "I'm happy because I'm with you," he said gently. "You make me happy, Lily. Being with you, seeing you smile, that's what makes everything feel right." Lily smiled, her eyes sparkling with joy. "I'm happy too, Daddy. I like it when we're together." Adam's heart swelled with emotion, and for a moment, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. It wasn't about the wealth he had accumulated or the success he had achieved in his career. It was about these small, quiet moments with his daughter, these moments of pure connection. As the days went by, Adam continued to focus on building a stronger relationship with Lily. They went on more outings, had dinner together every night, and spent countless hours talking and laughing. Slowly but surely, the shadows of loneliness that had once loomed over Adam began to fade. He found joy in the simplest things, like playing board games with Lily or watching a movie together on the couch. One morning, as they sat at the breakfast table, Lily looked at Adam with a thoughtful expression. "Daddy, when will we see the lady again?" she asked, referring to the woman Adam had met at the park all those weeks ago. Adam's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't expected Lily to bring her up again. The woman had been a catalyst for change in their lives, but he hadn't seen her since their brief meeting. "What lady, sweetie?" he asked, trying to sound casual. "The lady who helped me when I was lost," Lily explained. "She told me I was safe and that you would protect me. I liked her. She made me feel special." Adam's mind raced. He hadn't realized how much the woman's words had impacted Lily. He had been so focused on his own transformation that he hadn't considered the effect it had on his daughter. "I'm not sure, honey," Adam replied, his voice soft. "But I'm glad you felt special when you met her." Lily smiled and went back to her breakfast, but Adam couldn't shake the thought. The woman had come into their lives for a reason, and somehow, her presence had left a lasting impact on both him and Lily. Adam had never been one to believe in fate or destiny, but something about their encounter felt different. It felt like she had come into their lives at exactly the right moment, just when Adam needed to hear the right words. As the week went on, Adam found himself thinking about the woman more and more. He couldn't ignore the feeling that he needed to find her, to thank her for what she had done for them, even if she had no idea the kind of impact she had made. Adam made up his mind. He would search for her. He didn't know where to start, but he couldn't ignore the pull. He owed it to Lily, and to himself, to find the person who had unknowingly changed their lives. One evening, as he was walking through the city, he passed a small park. It was quiet, peaceful, and for some reason, it reminded him of the park where he had first met the woman. He walked through it, his mind racing with possibilities, when suddenly he saw a familiar figure sitting on a bench, reading a book. It was her, the woman from the park. Adam's heart raced as he approached her. She looked up, surprised to see him, but her expression softened when she recognized him. "Hello, Adam," she said, her voice warm and welcoming. "I wasn't expecting to see you again." Adam smiled, his heart full of gratitude. "I didn't expect to see you either," he said, sitting down next to her. "But I'm glad I did. I've been meaning to thank you for everything you did for us." The woman smiled, her eyes reflecting kindness and understanding. "You don't need to thank me," she said softly. "I just helped in the way I could, but I'm glad it made a difference." Adam nodded, feeling a deep sense of appreciation for her. "It made all the difference," he said. And in that moment, Adam realized that sometimes the most unexpected encounters lead to the most profound changes. The woman had come into their lives for a reason, and her impact would last far longer than he could have ever imagined. The days following Adam's unexpected reunion with the woman at the park felt different, lighter somehow. It was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, and for the first time in a long while, he could breathe freely. He had finally found her, the one person who had unknowingly played a role in transforming his life. And as they sat on that park bench, talking about their lives, Adam realized just how much he had been missing. The woman had shared her own story with him, revealing a glimpse into the kind of life she led, a life full of purpose, one that went beyond wealth and success. She spoke of her journey through loss, the struggle to rebuild, and the importance of finding true connection. It wasn't about the material things that people often chased, but about the love and relationships that grounded them. Adam listened intently, feeling a deep sense of admiration for her strength and resilience. She had shown him that there was more to life than just work, that the real treasures were the people we hold dear and the moments we share with them. "You've come a long way," the woman said, her voice soft but steady. "But you've only just begun. There's so much more to discover, about yourself, about life, and about the people you love." Adam nodded, the weight of her words settling in his chest. He knew she was right. He had been so focused on achieving success, on building his empire, that he had forgotten what truly mattered. And now, he was learning to shift his focus, to invest in the relationships that would sustain him, not just the ones that would bring him more recognition or wealth. After their conversation, Adam felt a sense of clarity he hadn't experienced in years. The woman didn't need to say much for him to understand that his path forward had to be one of balance, of embracing both the love he had for his daughter and the drive to succeed in his career, without letting one overshadow the other. He had spent so many years trying to be perfect, to give Lily everything he thought she needed. But now, he understood that being a good father wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present, showing up every day, and allowing himself to be vulnerable with her. That night, as Adam tucked Lily into bed, she looked up at him with a smile that made his heart swell. "Daddy, can we go see the lady again sometime?" she asked. Adam smiled softly, brushing a lock of hair from her forehead. "I don't know, sweetie," he said, his voice filled with warmth. "But I'm glad you liked her. She was a very special person, and I think she helped us in ways we didn't even realize." Lily smiled, her eyes sparkling with a sense of wonder. "I think she's nice. She made me feel safe." Adam nodded, feeling a sense of pride. It wasn't just about what the woman had done for him. It was what she had done for Lily. She had given her something that Adam couldn't provide on his own, a sense of reassurance, a reminder that she was loved and safe, no matter what. The next few weeks were a blur of change for Adam. He began to focus on his family more, stepping back from the constant hustle of his career to prioritize time with Lily. They went on outings, had dinner together every night, and spent more time talking, really talking, about their dreams, their fears, and their hopes for the future. It wasn't always easy to adjust, but Adam was determined to make it work. He knew that this was a new chapter, one where he could finally let go of the pressure to be everything to everyone and focus on what truly mattered. One evening, as Adam was walking through the city, he ran into the woman again. It was completely by chance. He wasn't expecting it, but there she was, standing outside a small cafe, smiling at him. "I was hoping I'd run into you again," she said warmly, her eyes kind. Adam smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude toward her. "I'm glad I found you," he said, his voice sincere. "You've really helped me, more than you know." The woman nodded, her expression softening. "I didn't do much. You're the one who made the change. You've done the hard work. But I'm glad I could be there when you needed it." Adam felt a rush of emotion. It was true. He had been the one to make the changes in his life. The woman had only provided the catalyst, the spark that had helped him see what needed to be done. "Thank you," Adam said, his voice thick with emotion. "For everything." She smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. "You don't need to thank me," she said gently. "You just need to remember that you're never alone. You've always had the strength inside you to make the changes you need. All you had to do was recognize it." Adam nodded, understanding what she meant. He had spent so long searching for answers, for someone to guide him, but the truth was, the answers had always been inside him. The woman had just helped him unlock them. As they said their goodbyes, Adam felt a sense of peace wash over him. He didn't need to search for meaning or purpose anymore. It was right in front of him, in his daughter, in the love they shared, and in the life he was finally learning to embrace. With that knowledge, Adam was ready to face whatever came next, with Lily by his side and the strength to build the life they both deserved. As weeks turned into months, Adam continued to embrace the changes he had made in his life. He was no longer just a successful businessman or a provider. He had become a father in the truest sense of the word. The relationship with Lily had grown deeper, richer, and more meaningful, and Adam could finally see the impact of the time and love he had invested in their bond. They spent more weekends together, whether it was at the zoo, the beach, or simply walking through the park, sharing small, everyday moments that, over time, became the foundation of a strong, loving relationship. Adam also began to focus more on his work-life balance. He started delegating more tasks to his team, taking weekends off, and making sure that his evenings were dedicated to spending time with Lily. He had finally realized that his wealth and success meant nothing without the people he loved to share it with. One evening, after a day of running errands, Adam was sitting in his living room, his feet up, sipping on a cup of tea, when Lily came running in, her face flushed with excitement. "Daddy, guess what?" she said, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Adam put down his cup and smiled. "What is it, sweetie?" Lily jumped up onto the couch beside him. "I got a special award at school today. My teacher said I'm the best at reading." Adam's heart swelled with pride. "That's amazing, Lily. I'm so proud of you. You've worked so hard, and it's paying off." Lily beamed, her eyes lighting up. "I couldn't have done it without you, Daddy. You always help me with my reading, and you're always there to listen." Adam felt a lump in his throat. He had spent so much time trying to be the perfect father, but hearing Lily say those words made him realize that it wasn't perfection that mattered. It was the love, the support, and the presence he gave her every day. As they celebrated Lily's achievement, Adam thought back to the woman at the park, the one who had changed their lives. Without her, he might never have recognized the importance of being present for Lily. Her simple words, her kindness, had sparked a transformation in Adam, one that had made him a better father, a better person. The gratitude he felt for her was immense, and though he had not seen her in a while, he knew her influence was still very much a part of their lives. That night, as Adam tucked Lily into bed, he kissed her goodnight and sat by her side for a few moments. He watched her fall asleep, her small chest rising and falling with each breath. As he sat there in the quiet of the room, a sense of peace washed over him. For the first time in years, Adam felt truly content. He had a daughter who loved him, a life that was rich with meaning, and a future full of possibilities. As he stood up and quietly left her room, Adam made a promise to himself. He would never again take his time with Lily for granted. He would continue to grow, to be present, and to give her all the love she deserved. The next morning, Adam woke up early, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He looked out the window at the rising sun, a new day full of promise, and he knew that no matter what challenges came his way, he had the strength and the love to face them. That afternoon, as Adam sat in his office, reflecting on everything that had changed in his life, his phone buzzed. It was a message from the woman at the park. "I'm so glad you're finding happiness. You've come so far, Adam, and I'm proud of you." Adam stared at the message, a smile creeping onto his face. He hadn't expected to hear from her again, but her words filled him with warmth. "Thank you," he typed back. "You were right. I had to change, and now I'm finally seeing what really matters." He hit send, feeling a sense of closure, but also a sense of gratitude. That message, simple as it was, reminded him that he wasn't alone in this journey. And just as the woman had helped him unlock the strength within himself, he now felt ready to share that strength with the world, especially with Lily. As the days continued to unfold, Adam's life only grew richer in love and connection. He knew the journey wasn't over. There would always be new challenges, new opportunities for growth. But for the first time in a long time, Adam felt equipped to face whatever came next. He wasn't just building a future for himself anymore. He was building it for Lily, for their family, for a life full of love, laughter, and memories. Adam was no longer just a man who had everything. He was a man who finally understood what it meant to have it all. Months passed, and Adam continued to thrive in his new way of life, balancing both his career and his role as a father. The changes he had made were no longer temporary adjustments, but rather a deep transformation in the way he viewed the world and the people around him. The love and connection he had built with Lily had become the foundation of his happiness. Each day, he made sure to spend time with her, whether it was reading books before bed, having breakfast together, or simply talking about their day. Adam no longer viewed his wealth as the most important part of his life. Instead, it was his family, the relationships he cherished, and the love that filled their home. One afternoon, as Adam sat in his home office, he received a call that would change everything once again. It was from the woman at the park, the one who had helped him realize the importance of being present in Lily's life. "I was hoping we could meet again," she said, her voice calm and steady. Adam felt a rush of emotions, wondering what this could mean. It had been some time since they last spoke, and though he was incredibly grateful for everything she had done for him, he hadn't expected to hear from her. Of course, Adam replied, his heart beating a little faster. When and where? She suggested they meet at the same cafe where they had shared their first conversation. Adam agreed, and the following day, he arrived at the cafe, unsure of what to expect. When he saw her, sitting at the same corner table, there was a sense of familiarity and warmth that washed over him. As Adam sat down, across from her, he could see that she hadn't changed much. Her calm demeanor still had the same effect on him, like she could see straight into his soul. "I've been watching you," she said, her eyes soft but intense. "And I'm proud of you, Adam. You've come so far." Adam felt a deep sense of gratitude, but also a touch of confusion. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice quiet. "You've transformed. I can see it in the way you interact with Lily, in the way you've made her a priority. I can see the peace in you now, the happiness that comes from being present in her life," she said with a gentle smile. Adam was overwhelmed with emotion. He had never expected someone to notice the changes so clearly. "It hasn't been easy," he admitted. "There have been moments when I've doubted myself, when I've wondered if I'm doing the right thing. But I know now that I'm on the right path." She nodded in understanding. "You are," she said, her voice soft but confident. "And that's what matters. You've learned what it means to love, to really love, and that's a gift you'll always have with you. It's not just about being there for Lily. It's about being there for yourself too. You've discovered that balance, and it's a beautiful thing to see." Adam sat in silence for a moment, reflecting on her words. He realized that he had been so focused on giving Lily everything he thought she needed, that he had neglected his own needs. But now, with everything he had learned, he knew that he couldn't be the best father to her without first taking care of himself. "I'm finally starting to understand what it means to love myself, too," he said quietly, his voice filled with new understanding. The woman smiled warmly, her eyes sparkling with pride. "That's exactly what I wanted you to learn," she said. "Loving yourself, understanding your own worth, and then sharing that love with others. That's the key. You've unlocked something powerful within you, and now you're living with purpose." Adam felt a deep sense of peace wash over him. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't worried about the future. He wasn't chasing after more success or striving to prove himself. He had found contentment, not in the things he could acquire, but in the relationships he nurtured and the love he shared. "Thank you," Adam said, his voice thick with emotion. "For everything. I wouldn't be here without you." The woman reached out and placed a hand on his. "You did the work, Adam," she said softly. "You found your own path. I just helped you see it." As they sat there, talking and laughing, Adam knew that this was not the end of his journey. It was just the beginning. He had learned how to be a present father, how to love unconditionally, and how to embrace his own worth. He had learned that true success wasn't measured by wealth, but by the love and happiness that filled his life. Adam and Lily's bond had become unbreakable, and together, they would continue to build a future full of love, joy, and possibility. And though the woman at the park had played a pivotal role in sparking his transformation, Adam knew that the true power was always within him. He had found the strength to change, and in doing so, he had found his happiness. The future was bright, and Adam was ready to embrace it, with Lily by his side and the lessons he had learned guiding him every step of the way.